Welcome back to another edition of Songs of the Ozarks, a project of the Ozarks Studies Institute, an ongoing initiative of the Missouri State University Libraries. My name is Emily Flatness, and today's date is March 4th, 2023. I'm here with Potter's Wheel in Willard, Missouri at the Sac River Cowboy Church Event Center. Thank you all so much for meeting with me today.
Thank you for having us.
So my first question is, are you all originally from the Ozarks?
I am. I grew up in a little town called Lead Mine up in Dallas County, and I moved to the Lake of the Ozarks for 35 or 40 years, and then I'm back in Dallas County at Lead Mine, so I haven't went very far.
You're not a world traveler, are you?
No.
I was actually born and raised in LeClaire, Iowa. Both my parents are from the same area, Lead Mine, Eldridge, Missouri, and I moved back here in 1983.
Wow.
I was born in Houston, Missouri, not Texas, and lived around the Plato area for a long time. And luckily, my parents moved to Lebanon when I was 6 years old. So yeah, I've not gone very far either, and I'm pretty local.
Born and raised in Eldridge, Missouri. Graduated high school in Lebanon, and got married and moved off for a while, but always came back home. So I make my home in Lebanon.
Awesome.
I was born in Grand Junction, Colorado in 1974, but I lived most of my life in the Ozarks. My folks out of the Lebanon area, Lebanon, Missouri area is where I kind of hail out of.
Fantastic. So Lead Mine, Missouri, is the name kind of self-explanatory? Was it a mining community?
It was in the late 1800s. They had, I think, the largest vein of lead that they found there, and it was mined for years, and the original company that lost their lease on it, and they hid the vein of lead, and it's never been found again. When I was in high school, which would have been in the 60s, there was a company came in and spent a whole summer over there. Again, I don't know how many times since the early 1900s that people have tried to find it, but they've never found it yet. But it must have hit it pretty good.
Yeah. So, relatively rural community.
Oh yeah, it's out in the middle of nowhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
What would you guys say about your communities, rural or urban?
Very rural.
Small town.
Yeah.
LeClaire, Iowa is a riverboat town.
Really?
It's actually where American Pickers on TVs, where they film. So actually,
Cool.
where they're located was about 2 blocks from where I was raised. So yeah, it was a pretty rough town back when I was a child in the 60s. At that time, there was just one main street, and I think there were 9 taverns on the street. So it was a pretty rough town at that time. But
The town I lived in, we had a post office, a general store, and 2 or 3 churches.
yep.
That was pretty much it.
Wow. Sounds like your typical Ozarks rural little
Absolutely.
town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I live in Wendyville now.
Oh, yeah.
There's 4 people live in Wendyville. If I can talk one of them to go along with my wife, I can be mayor.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'll go ahead and congratulate you then.
No, he can't get his wife to
He can't
vote.
get
Oh, man. So how'd you guys get started playing music? I'm really curious, Rex. Was there a lot of, bluegrass or gospel music in Iowa?
Oh yeah, I was raised in church there in LeClaire, and my dad was a big bluegrass fan, big Bill Monroe fan. Actually saw him in 1949 in Camden at the J-Bar H Rodeo. He said that's back when his hair was black. But yeah, I've always heard bluegrass growing up. Started off playing music in a country rock band.
Wow.
Back in the late 70s. And I think it was around 2000, and I'd played with Bonnie in bands before. And I think it was around 2000 that we decided we wanted to play gospel music with a bluegrass side to it. And so we've been going at this for 23 years now.
You'd
Steve-
think would be
yeah.
better.
Steve joined us in 2008. Matt, you came on about 2012, I think.
Mhm.
Mm,
So people have come and gone, but this is kind of the core group here.
that's great. Have any of, or did any of your ancestors play music when you guys were growing up, or
My ancestors were all farmers,
really?
and I grew up on a farm, but it wasn't any time until I discovered I was too lazy to do that, so I took up playing banjo.
My grandpa died a year before I was born in the late 50s, but he played fiddle. They used to cut railroad ties on the Niagara River and float them down the river. And him and another man named Charlie Mulder used to supply music at the camps at night. And so he would cut railroad ties and help float them down, but they would get it in early to set up for the camp at night, and they would supply music. So he played fiddle, and I've got a bunch of family members that play music, so it's kind of always been in the family.
Wow.
My grandpa played banjo, but I was too small to realize what it was, so. But I remember he owned one of those country stores with the belly stove in the back and chairs
Really?
around like you see everywhere, and you'd walk in that general store and you'd hear that banjo playing in the back of the room there, which was really interesting, but like I say, I was too small to really realize what it was what was going on, but
Wow.
it was neat as I think back at that.
My folks were mostly preachers. I had a lot of preachers in my family, so I was raised in church from the time I was itty bitty, and started singing in church when I was 3 years old, and then started singing professionally at 15. So I've been singing all my life, but like I say, my folks were there was a lot of preachers in my family, and
Mhm.
where you have preaching, you have singing, and so we just traveled around all over to revivals and things like that, and so I was just raised singing in church, so.
Amazing.
I remember seeing an article in the local paper when Matt, I think he was maybe 14.
Yeah, maybe.
You were kind of like a child prodigy there in Lebanon. On the
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, there was a big write-up
Wow.
on him.
That was before your time. I used to be really talented. I don't know what happened.
You grew up.
I just out of the gate, I was excellent, and then it's just
Downhill ever
It's
since.
just all the way down. I only know the 2 licks now. The Foggy Mountain Breakdown Lick and the other.
Yeah.
That's enough. That's all you
That's
need
All
to
I
know.
know is the 2.
Somebody said today, I think Matt's played with almost every band at this festival.
Well, he can't keep a good job.
Right. It seems like, would you guys say that you're based in the Lebanon area?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like there's a lot of gospel bands that come from the Lebanon area. I know there's always big festivals, and New Horizons, of course, is
Right.
one that comes to mind. Why do you think that is?
Well, like I said, we all grew up going to churches around
Mhm.
there, and gospel is just part of our life, part of our rural upbringing. And I think the Albert E. Brumley celebration that they've had there for years was what really drew gospel to Lebanon. And then, of course, the New Horizons have their gospel celebration, and all in all, it just kind of snowballed into Lebanon becoming a home base for gospel music
That's
And
great.
acoustic music.
and acoustic.
Yeah, Morgan's music is there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What genre would you guys identify with if you had to identify with one?
Individually or as a group?
Oh, either way.
Because you're gonna get a very diverse answer to that. I would say, country gospel for me.
I enjoy singer-songwriters.
Mm.
I was really influenced by people like Jackson Brown and James Taylor and
Who's those guys?
yeah. But we write a lot of original stuff, so that's really what, our lyrics probably aren't typical, they're even not typical gospel lyrics, what I would call gospel lyrics, so we just try to incorporate that, and I just love acoustic instruments. I just,
All his background was Southern gospel.
Southern gospel.
He sang in quartets
Wow.
for years.
Did a little bit of country after that, and then I was kind of late to the bluegrass scene, but when I heard it, I really liked the unique vocals and the instrumentation. The musicians are really second to none, And when I got a chance to play with these guys, it was like become my favorite
Well,
thing
that
to
and the
do.
fact bluegrass
And the best
pickers
part of
were-
my musical, everything that I've done.
Bluegrass
more
pickers
rewarding.
work cheap.
Mhm.
Amen.
No arguments.
We get exposure.
What first inspired you to write music?
I think I inspired Steve because when the band started, I was the only one that, I didn't want to just do songs that everybody else did. I mean, we do the old gospel hymns and we do songs that people know. But it's just something that I had a hunger. I've always written songs, and Steve's like, wow, that's really simple. I can do that. And he started writing when he came in, and so I don't know. It's just something I've always wanted to do. I always put words to music. I always thought that was the neatest thing.
Well, it adds a whole different aspect to music in your life. I mean, for years you're just a musician and you play what somebody else wrote, and being able to write, you're playing what you hear in your head, and it's you get a great deal of enjoyment out of that.
But as far as the arrangements and things go, I mean, when they write a song, they come to the group with the basic arrangement. And then there's a lot of wailing and gnashing of teeth to get it. And Rex is like, that's not really how I heard it in my head. But, we fight through it and come out with some, what we think is pretty good stuff.
I remember one song I wrote, by the time we got done with all the changes, the only thing I kept was the title.
I remember that. That's a true story.
We didn't
Really?
want to,
That's
we didn't want to
not
take
even-
that one away from him.
Well, the words are pretty good.
But I get the royalty check. I don't.
Have you had difficulties coming from such different musical backgrounds, involving everything together to create your own sound?
I don't think so. This is a group of people that really, for musicians, there's no ego involved. These people, they just want good music and they want the words to be real. And I mean, everybody has their opinions and we like that. That's part of what we want. So.
Steve reins us in every now and then when we get a little bit too far off, way off in left field. He's like, nah, we got to bring that back closer to.
You're drifting
Yeah.
too
Tell 'em the
far from
seagulls.
the
Yeah.
shore.
When you're the oldest guy in the group, they have to respect their elders.
Right.
In the recording studio, Rex was gonna put seagulls in the background
Some nice
on one
beach
of our
tones.
songs, and Steve politely said, "There are no seagulls in bluegrass." So we had to edit that out.
There's no seagulls on any of our stuff. I want that to be out there.
It would have been pretty.
Seagulls ain't no part of bluegrass.
So you guys have all kind of played an array of venues, it sounds like, some national venues. Have you found a different reception playing in the Ozarks versus, Texas or Florida or?
Well, normally we're more regional. We don't
Right.
we played in Illinois, Arkansas, Kansas. That's pretty much our range. We're all well, not all of us. These two are retired now, but most of us still work and have full-time jobs, and so we're pretty much we try not to book anything. I mean, we've got calls as far away as Arizona and Michigan,
Wow.
and it's just, we can't do that. It's just too hard on us, but.
We have to get home to milk in the morning.
I will say though, I didn't grow up listening to bluegrass.
Mhm.
And like I say, most of my musical, what word am I even looking for?
Influences?
Experience or influence was in church and stuff, but since we've done quite a few festivals and things of that nature, I will say that bluegrass fans are fantastic.
Mm.
They just are really down-to-earth, good people that want to come out and listen to good music and enjoy life. And I don't think I have ever run across any of them with a sour look on their face. I mean, they're just genuinely good fans of bluegrass music, and that's refreshing.
Well, you can still go to a bluegrass festival and let your kids run around and not worry about someone kidnapping them or
That's true.
drunks and.
That is
Yeah,
true.
that is.
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah, the bluegrass festival.
It's still a
community has always
family,
been that way.
it's a family atmosphere. The music just has a family atmosphere.
The musicians themselves is definitely a family-based, it's a family-based music.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Bluegrass is all about that.
Yep.
All of my bluegrass buddies and stuff, yeah, come on in, help yourself to whatever you want. Yeah, very.
Well, we all
It's
learn
just
to
that
pick
way.
in somebody's kitchen, and that's about the truth. You know, when I was growing up, there wasn't any place to play, lived out in the country, but we was in somebody's house on Saturday night, and just the local players would get together, and that's where I learned to play. And it just, that's pretty much bluegrass in itself, right there. It's just, when we're on stage, if we was playing at home, we'd just be playing like we was doing in somebody's living room, That's what's so neat about the music. It's just simple,
You can do the same thing on stage as you can underneath a shade tree.
Mhm.
And it sure saves our backs, packing a lot of amplifiers. Peter, oh Peter, on this rock I'll build my church. Well, Jesus walked along the shores of Galilee, saw two men throw a net in the sea. Simon Peter and Andrew were their names. He said, throw your nets upon the other side, throw them deep, throw them wide, for I will make you fishers of men. Peter, oh Peter, for I will make you fishers of men. On the fourth watch of night, Jesus walked upon the sea. The disciples feared, what kind of spirit could it be? But Jesus said, fear not, for it is I. And Peter cried, Lord, if it's really you, bid me walk on the water too. But he became afraid and started sinking in the waves. Peter, oh Peter, soon you'll be filled with faith. Well, Jesus asked the 12 who they say I am. Some say you're John the Baptist, some say the Son of Man. But Peter said, thou art the Son of God. Blessed art thou, for God revealed to thee the kingdom of heaven. I give you the keys, and upon this rock I'll build my church.
It's
Rex.
mine and Matt's favorite because we get to sit down.
Yep, no,
We got to sit down on that.
It's
one,
off
man.
the
That's the first time I've ever sung that sit down.
We probably
I
should.
probably
Probably
should.
should have stood up.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Well, is there anything else you guys want to sing?
No,
No, I think we better stop it right here.
Well, thank you guys so much.
well, thank you for inviting us.
This has been another edition of Songs of the Ozarks. Thank you guys so much for meeting with me. And
Thank
we'll
you.